I started with the co-op originally in 1987, and that was a very different co-op. The co-op I joined was the old Cooperative Wholesale Society, CWS. We merged with other societies along the way, and we acquired lots of businesses along the way. And the one thing that's certain about funeral care as it is now is that if you were designing it on a clean sheet of paper, you wouldn't build it the way it is now.
I had the privilege in joining the organisation to spend at least a day with every one of my colleagues in different parts of the organisation. And when you do that, you see how massively different the way in which we do things across the organisation is.
We've taken other pieces of business and instead of fully integrating them into our co-op business, we've rather bolted them on the side.
There has been inherent problems created by the way it was put together haphazardly. I think the change process we're going through now will lead to not only a streamlining of the business, but also a consistent approach across all of the business. But probably more importantly for our colleagues is having the right level of supervision and support in to help take them through the job and make this even a better place for clients and a better place for us all to work.
As an organisation, we are very heavily administratively focused. I think much of that has to do with the way in which our systems operate. So Rainbow for me is a technological platform that's probably more from the 1980s. You half expect to see Pac-Man coming across the middle of it at times because it is so dated.
The heavy admin, really, we can only apologise and say, look, that's an area of focus for this business to actually say, look, let's stop this. Let's really, again, start from ground zero and actually how can we build that up to only have, you know, the necessary sort of checks that we need. And using this thing called, you know, technology. You know, we don't embrace technology particularly well as a profession, and I think we've got a great opportunity in co-op funeral care to do that and actually let technology do some of the work for us.
And I'm delighted to say that it's what I've seen so far of the new digital system. This will be a tremendous benefit to give us more time to spend with clients and for the supervisors and managers to spend more time actually working with their teams to help to develop client service.
One team has been taught in one way, one team's been taught in a different way. That isn't safe, and it doesn't lead to the very best standards for our families. So the more that we can harmonise the simple things, the more we'll also give our people the opportunity to be themselves and enable them to engage with the families with their personalities. Because we won't be worrying about how we get the basics right. We'll be able to focus wholly on providing the best quality of service.
Simple example of inconsistencies in the roles that we have in the business is that we would have had principal funeral directors in our business who would have been schedulers or coordinators, so they ran the diary, they ran the logistics operation around that particular care centre. In another location, the principal funeral director was a working funeral director who was on call and was working with his team, maybe doing reviews for FSOs, maybe deputising for the manager. Completely different roles, same title, totally inconsistent.
If we think about what were our care centre manager population in particular, so we had people in those roles who had a handful of direct reports and people in those roles who had up to 80 direct reports. Obviously, when you have a day job to do and 80 people reporting to you, it's very difficult to be effective. And perhaps more importantly, it's very difficult to have a meaningful management relationship with those individuals.
As of last year, we started a process where we recognised that actually there was an opportunity to change some of those management roles and take out some of the layers of management that perhaps weren't adding a huge amount of value. And I've got to say, I'm an example of that because I was the ops director for UK North in funeral care. I'm now head of operations for the West and Central, but I completely understood the need for change. And it's not easy when it happens to you, and it's not easy when it hits you personally. But actually, if you really believe it's for the best for the organisation, then for me it was a no-brainer to actually realise that we had to do that.
The new structure with the right training should lead to the fact that our leaders will have more time with their people to do the right things, to say the right things, to listen, to learn, to coach. And that will ultimately mean that our people will understand why we're doing things a lot more, and that will translate into a better service for our families.
Going forward, I think we'll be empowering our people far more than we've ever done before, but giving them the support so that they know that they have something to fall back on, they have a frame of reference, so that when they make that decision, they've got the support of their boss.
System and process across funeral care is very manual. We have got manual processes for everything, paper-based all over the place, and different systems in different places.
So I think in the past we've probably been a little bit more worried about the amount of cost that a change would do rather than what that change will generate in terms of revenue for us. You know, more contribution for our members and for our communities as well by getting something right.
The opportunity that the new systems and processes will give us is to be able to streamline the use of our resources so that we can deliver a better value for our families. And ultimately, that will lead to more funerals and a better, more solid financial future for our organisation.